Hi, my name is Gregg. I'm a welding instructor here at Worcester Technical High School in Worcester, Mass. And today we're going to discuss where we're going to use the die grinder and when we know to move on to our next stages. Stay tuned. So now that we've gone over this with our mini angle sander, we're going to hit it with the die grinder. We're going to get in all those nooks and crannies. With the mini angle sander, we did all the flat spots. We got all like the slag off and all of that and flattened out the welds. But now we want to get into the nooks and crannies with the die grinder. I'm going to start out using this mounted point right here. It's going to get into the edges here really nice. It's kind of like painting, so I'm going to want to do like the long areas first and then get into the corners with the cartridge rolls. All right, so with the die grinder, you want to have some finesse with this. You don't have to like really work on it really hard. Let the tool do the work. This thing spins at 25,000 RPM, so it can do plenty of the work. So have some finesse. Come in here really slow, and it's variable speed, so you can put it, start slow and kind of work your way up as you go. So if I came into this, I know that this space is kind of going to be close to this size, so I'd kind of have some finesse and kind of come in here nice and slow and work that straight edge. Then I would grab the cartridge rolls and hit the edges right here. And then when I wanted to take the welds out, like bigger stock removal, I would grab the carbide burr and put that on, and then go up here and kind of hit where all these welds are. All right, so let's get started, and we'll start out with the mounted point. So now that we're done with the mounted point, I'm going to finish the rest of the job with the cartridge roll. So now that I'm done with the cartridge roll, I was able to get into all the nooks and crannies with it. I also noticed while I was using the cartridge roll, while I had the mounted point, there was some spots where I was afraid to go flat with it. So I thought I was going to have to spin this roof rack around to flatten all these edges out, because they'd be sharp if you had that angle on one side. But where this thing was kind of skinny, I was able to go in here really lightly with some finesse and kind of just go nice and soft, so I was able to flatten out all those edges so I don't have to spin this thing around, so I could save some time. And again, I used this same cartridge roll for all the letters on this roof rack. So don't think just because you use this once it's junk. You can still use these over and over again. So for the next step, and probably hopefully the final step, is I'm going to take the carbide burr, rotary file as I like to call it, and I'm going to get into the areas where I have a lot of material. I want to take out this weld, so I'm going to use this to kind of get in there and take out the weld lightly. This has like a point on it, so I'm going to come in here on an angle and kind of just wash my way through this really softly, because this tool will take a lot out. And if you see any sparks, you're not doing it correctly. You should be able to do it nice and light and just kind of remove that material. So now that I've removed most of this stock with the carbide burr, I noticed a few things. I've used these before, so I kind of knew this beforehand, but this one really had a lot of bite to it, so I barely needed to do any work on my own. I just kind of put the carbide burr near where it needed to go, and I let it do the work. I just kind of traveled along where I wanted it to go. And I actually, when I gave it too much force, I could feel it kind of like vibrate and hop. And up in here was a little bit easier. It was less of an angle, so I could hold it a little bit more and give a little bit more force. But I just like to point out something, that if you see my shirt, it's all shiny from the parts that came off from taking off all that stock. This shows the importance of wearing PPE. I have some on my gloves. While I was using this, I could hear them hitting my face, so you need to have your face shield. And earplugs are also great, because this thing's really loud, because this thing spins at 25,000 RPMs. But also those little metal shavings could have fallen into my ear. And right now they're like kind of like nice, like I'm bedazzled, but they're also hot. So that's why also long sleeves, earplugs, face shield, and gloves. So our final video of the series, we're gonna finish up with a cartridge roll where I've already worked with a carbide burr just to smooth out these edges. So stay tuned.